Hello, shitheads! Welcome to another episode of Show Us Your Shit. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're new today, I'll get to the premise of the whole show very soon. Tonight we have a really exciting guest. I have an old buddy of mine, an old stand-up pal who I used to do stand-up on the circuit with and used to bump into in random countries at random points because he's quite a global comedian. Anil Desai is going to be on the show today, who's just incredible. If you've never seen him live, you are missing out on comedy gold. This guy is, he can do a million voices. He does impressions, he does stand-up, and he does one of my favorite things. He goes on, this is just a thing he loves to do. He's a stand-up on cruise ships. And he goes around to all these amazing islands around the world, but as the comedian on board, the official comedian. So that's very cool. Just before we begin, before I bring him in tonight, had a massive shit fail today. Usually when I buy stuff, my wife and I have quite different tastes in stuff for our son, Wilf, which is a very popular name today, I see, trending on Twitter. Wilfred is 2.5 years old. The presents I buy him are presents that I kind of wish that I had as a kid. So I've bought him things like an original Mork and Mindy doll of Mork, or I managed to track down a unopened packaged toy of Hawkeye from MASH, which I didn't even know they made toys of. So I'm pretty good with the toys, and she puts up with it because there's a kind of value to it where I can say, this will go up in money, you know, kind of thing. Total fail today. My son and I have been watching TV for the first time ever. We always watch Netflix and stuff, but this is the first time in lockdown where we're watching cartoons in the morning. And there's a lot of adverts on TV. And there's one advert that really makes us laugh all the time. It's just a ridiculous toy. And I thought I'll surprise him by buying it and giving it to him as a present today. And when my wife saw it, she just was like, this is too far. You've gone too far. And I was like, I promise you're not going to be saying that when you see the golden reaction on his face. Showed it to him this morning as he was excited when I said, you've got a present on the way. And he did that thing where he held the smile and he went, oh, wow, thank you. Now, he usually loses his shit, right? He usually goes psycho when he sees a toy of any kind. And this is the first time we've ever had a muted, oh, great, thanks, Dad. Really nice of you. Total fail. Anyway, so if you do have a 2.5-year-old, don't do what I did. Don't get the silly sausage. It's not going to bring the joy that you hope it did. It's actually quite an annoying toy. It screams at you when you press it down at the bottom here.
Silly sausage! Come on, play with me!
I mean, it begs you to play with him. So yeah, silly sausage, not recommended toy. Okay, he's going to talk for a while. Anyway, let's get to our guest. This is very exciting. We have Anil Desai here.
Come on, play with me!
We'll play later, mate. Okay, so I'm going to bring him. One that I've known since about 2012. We've been on the comedy circuit. We'll talk about actually the place where we met sometime during the show. And here he is, Anil.
Hey, hi.
Good to see you, man. Thanks for doing this tonight. As is per usual of this show, I've been asking guests only a couple of hours before the show begins whether they can do it. So little prep, but thanks for saying yes.
You put us through this thing of going 2 hours till showtime, right? I got to now dig up everything.
Yeah.
Crazy loon, like just going through boxes of stuff because everything's not just out of time. You know what I mean?
I know. I've got to get better at organizing. But anyway, so let's begin the show. Welcome to Show Us Your Shit, brackets, or some Shakespeare, a pair of pajamas, and a mutton chop. And I'll explain to you why it's called that at the end of the show. But this is a show that while we're in lockdown, I thought we could chat to interesting people around the world about all the awesome stuff that they have in their houses. They're surrounded by them right now. Why not show them to us? And tonight we are talking to stand-up comic, impressionist, Anil Desai. And we'll get to some of his extraordinary talents soon. But Anil, what's your first item you're going to show us?
The first item, I found this in a charity shop in Crouch End when I moved here 3 years ago. And they were in a glass box. And it's this. Now, this is the best way to look at it. Now, what this is a pair of shoes. These are boat shoes, deck shoes, that have the Jaws, the official Jaws poster printed on them, because these shoes were worn by, the brand of the shoes were worn by the crew and the cast on the set of Jaws, and they had a limited edition to make these official shoes from the company. And on the inside, it's a bit worn in because I have actually worn them. You can see the blood and stuff, and it says warning, don't go to the beach and stuff. And it's got all the blood stains in there. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, right? So
what? So these would have been worn by someone who was working on the movie.
So the brand of shoe,
yeah,
was the brand of shoe that they all wore on set.
Right, awesome.
They got the official license to print the official poster artwork on the shoes and on the inside as well. And I think there was maybe, I don't know, a few thousand of these made.
So cool.
I found them in a charity shop, and they were my size. And I showed my buddy, he's a massive movie fan, and he goes, well, you can't wear them. You got to keep them in a glass box on display. And I went, for who? I said, I've got to wear them. All right. And when I got on the cruise ships, these were the shoes.
Oh, really? Those are your...
Well, with me, yeah.
Those are your stand-up shoes. Amazing.
Cruise, when I'm on the cruise deck, on the just walking, just
oh, the casual shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Maybe look on Amazon or online and see if someone's selling them. But they're comfortable. I've had these now 3 years. 3 years.
That's so wicked. What a charity shop find. That's that is brilliant, man. What so just while we're mentioning it, you're walking around on cruise ships. Give us the goss on the cruise ship scene. What is that? How long have you been doing it?
They found me at the Melbourne Comedy Festival in 2011, and then I started. They offered me a couple of cruises in 2012 to see if I liked it, if I'd be up for it. And I said, well, I don't want to live on a cruise ship for 6 months or a year. And they said, no, you be a fly-on guest entertainer. I said, I don't know what that means. And they said, well, all these other acts, they fly to the port, they get on the ship, they do their shows. Once the shows are done, they get off the ship and they go back home, or they go to the next ship. And I went, well, where does the ship go to? And they named a few places like Fiji and New Zealand. And then they mentioned Mystery Island. And I went, there's a place called Mystery Island on and that excited me because it reminded me of Tracy Island and Thunderbirds and stuff like that.
Right.
Exotic sort of fantasy shows from the 60s and 70s. And I was like, I've got to go check this place out. And sure enough, I went to Mystery Island on my first cruise, which is part of New Caledonia, Vanuatu, down a couple of days out of Sydney, if you're going east towards Fiji, down in the Pacific. And it's called Mystery Island because sometimes it wouldn't be there because it would be underwater. And it was underwater for about 125 years until it rose up again. And now it's a stop point for the cruises. Nice. And what was really cool was that when I finished that cruise, I got back to Melbourne when I was staying with a friend between cruises, and I was watching. And in Australia, what I love about Australian TV is that they show reruns of classic stuff like Fantasy Island and Mork and Mindy and Happy Days. And they had Love Boat was on, which I hadn't since I was a kid. And the very episode they were showing was the one when they were in Sydney and they were cruising out to Vanuatu and Mystery Island. And I went, I just came from there. Except that show was made in the 70s or something. And also, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
I remember, so I got quite a... Yeah, and I've seen, because I got obsessed with you going to Mystery Island, and you very kindly gave me Mystery Island merchandise, which I still have at my house, but I'm at my in-laws at the moment, but I have back at home, and Neil gave me a Mystery Island baseball cap, which it's so cool. And I remember there was one point when you were going back where the island was missing. So like in the time that we've known each other, I think they got it wrong. I think it was just high tide and they thought it was missing.
It would know about 3-4 years ago. It went under again. There was two massive cyclones out there, and it went gone for about 8 months or something, and then it came back. It was also the last place that I know of, and you might know more, that cannibalism was still a thing.
Oh, really?
I think it was obsolete there from when the last person that was trying to give them the rules. No.
Yeah, right.
It was around maybe 93 or something like that. Might have been the last time, or 96. Might have been the last time they had cannibalism there.
Yeah, and so it's cool, right? Because there's an island near it where they basically, because they know that tourists love to go to Mystery Island, no one lives there, but they go over with stalls and they just set up shop.
That's where they have this cauldron, and you can pose to sit in the cauldron with the locals, with the natives.
Oh, what, to emulate being eaten?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's great though. It is close to paradise, man. It's great there. So that's I'm fortunate to get that opportunity to go out to such places.
Yeah, and you've been doing that for quite a few years now, right? So what is it? How many gigs do you do a night on a cruise?
But you might do a half-hour show. You're on with another comedian, and they've got the main cruise I work on, Carnival. They've got a great club. It's called the Punchline Comedy Club. It's like a 400-seater, low ceiling, rake seating. It's got the fake brick wall thing, and you do a half-hour set, and then your buddy comes on, does a half-hour. There's a club host as well, and mostly Australians and New Zealanders are the cruisers on those ones down there, and yeah, it's great, and you just do your stuff, but you got to do a family show, and then you got to do a couple of adult shows, and then you can repeat them if you want, or you can do another extra show, or whatever.
Yeah.
Do a 45-minute show, and that's in the main theater, it's like a West End sized theater, like 1,200, 1,300 seater theaters with like
really,
and you go out there and you do your one-man show in a massive theater on a cruise ship, and when you're on the theater on a cruise ship doing a show, you could be in the West End, you could be anywhere. I mean, it's gorgeous, So
yeah.
So it just depends which cruise line you're on, but yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Let's check out your next item. So if you're just joining us now, by the way, Anil, this is a thing that happens here because Instagram people go in and out. I consistently reintroduce the show, and it's become the drinking game of the show. So every time I do it, you'll see people drinking below us in the comments. Welcome to Show Us Your Shit. This is a show every night where I chat to interesting people around the world about the amazing stuff that they've been hoarding in their houses and asking them to take them off the shelves and show them to us. And tonight we're talking to the brilliant stand-up comedian Anil Desai. What's our next item, bud?
Well, they're talking about drinks, and we were just talking about the islands in the Southern Hemisphere. New Caledonia is one of them, which is part of France in the Southern Hemisphere. And I got this. This is a shot glass sat inside a shark's head. It's not a real shark, of course, but I'm a
Thanks
fan
for putting it.
And it was from New Caledonia, and I thought, well, I don't want to bring back other things that are just kind of like a flag or whatever people bring back. I saw this, and I was like, that's more me. So I got that, and it goes with the shoes. If you missed the shoes earlier on, I've got these Jaws shoes, which are boat shoes.
So are you a big Jaws fan? Is this
one of my favorite films of all time? I think. I was on a flight coming back from Australia once, and it's about a 24-hour flight. 2 planes, and they've got a lot of new movies on, and I didn't watch any of them. I watched Jaws twice. I've seen it 20 times, but it's
not even the sequels, just the one.
Just the one.
First. Yeah.
No, but just the one. This. And this is from New Caledonia, and I've actually, because I put it on my mantelpiece with other things, I've never actually poured a drink into it and had a shot from it. So that's, yeah. So there you go.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, I guess, yeah, you don't want to have to wash it and ruin it somehow. Just keep it pristine.
Well, yeah, I guess it's just collecting dust now, though.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, when you have items in your house that are meant to be, like if someone went around your room and they saw that, they'd be like, oh, I'll take that to the dishwasher, or I'll clean that. I've got a signed mug at my house of there's a podcast which most people will know, My Dad Wrote a Porno. And the hero of My Dad Wrote a Porno is the guy who writes these terrible porn erotica books called Rocky Flintstone. And I have a signed mug by Rocky Flintstone. Right. And I'm consistently having to hide it in new spots in my house because I so nearly have had it washed a number of times that I would have lost it. I've literally saved it just before it's gone into the sink. Yeah, so I can't display it. It's hidden in the back of a drawer.
Right.
Useless. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a personal gift item that you're going to have forever, right?
Yeah.
Bunches of those things. I found a few other things since you called me a few hours ago.
Cool. Yeah. What do you got?
Man, I don't like. I have this. I've got this baseball. Baseball. This
Nice.
baseball. The first time I went to America was in 1984, and then I went back there in '87, and I stayed with my uncle. My dad sent me to stay with my uncle down in Florida, and he took me out to get a baseball glove and a baseball bat and a baseball because we were in America and I'd never played baseball. But I was like, okay, he watches the game, and then he got me this ball along with the bat and the glove, which I've lost since. But I kept the ball, and I still throw it around and stuff. But I never played baseball with it because I came back to London after the summer, and
Yeah.
and I got this baseball. Everyone's going, well, who's going to play baseball? Yeah, everyone's playing cricket and stuff. So, but I still kept the ball, and I still watched baseball from then until now.
Right. Just because of this one item.
Yeah, and then
It's like your connection.
And for a while, before they became hugely corporate. But when I was in New York in 2005 with my buddy Jason and my best friend Brendan, we went to Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium up in Harlem, and went to see the Yankees play the Red Sox, and they won that game, and that was the only game they won. But it was a great day, and that was watching baseball live was amazing. It was just a real treat, man.
Yeah, we were talking to comedian Alex Edelman a few episodes ago, and he always makes this point that culturally, baseball in America is something that sport doesn't quite touch in other countries. And I disagreed with him, but he's got a really strong case for the fact that it's culturally so ingrained in the blood of Americans that it's very hard to. And I said, well, football, and he was like, it's not quite the same. Yeah, so you've obviously been infected with the disease of baseball. I mean, it's a good disease, obviously.
Yeah, just I grew up with a lot of Americans around me, so it was kind of yeah.
Yeah.
So now I don't know where we are now though. I'm not. I don't really. We don't. They used to televise baseball here on Channel 4 was great when it started. They had sumo wrestling, and they had American football, they had baseball, they had all these like world sports and stuff. And now they have like, I don't know what the hell they have. They're like 8 out of 10 cats does countdown or some shit. But they had, but baseball, you could watch it. You could watch the World Series, and which was great. But yeah, now not so much. So anyway,
that's so cool. So you've had that since 1984 or 1987.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Wicked.
I know, and I've moved so many times. And the last time I took it out, I was on a film set. I was shooting a feature film last summer, and I took it with me just to kind of throw around because we were out in there's a big sort of, lots of land and stuff. And I thought I'll take it out to throw around, and nobody wanted to play catch. I just thought, this is like my childhood when I had to came back and to play. And now I'm on a film set with a crew of like 30 people with 10 actors and stuff, and we're on breaks, and I was going, anybody want to throw a ball around? Nah. Okay.
Nah. While we're on the theme of you being on a film set, you told me about an item that you have, which is from a film set, which I'd love to see. And just for anyone who's now I'm doing this quite quick, but let's get a few drinks in. It's Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Show Us Your Shit. This is a show where we talk to interesting people about amazing stuff that is sitting in their houses, surrounded around them, and I've asked them to go hunt them down only 2 hours before the show begins to show us what they have. And we are talking to Anil Desai, who's a massive Jaws fan, but he also loves other movies, including this one he's about to show a thing of.
So I was back in 2002. I was playing Hunter S. Thompson in a Fear and Loathing sketch, and it's sort of Johnny Depp's Hunter S. Thompson from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And
do you still have the impression? Can you do it for us, or is it lost on you?
No, it's it's around. I can put these on, I guess. And
oh, cool.
Oh God, hey man, hey, whoa, hey, man, this is bad country. You know the thing, Dan, I want to tell you something about you ever done it? Don't do it, man. It'll drive you batshit crazy. Whoa. Anyway, here's the thing. So
But that's amazing because that's both Depp and Hunter.
right, that's what I was doing in the sketch, and it was
Yeah, right. Wow.
ended up talking where I ended up them having a dialogue with me about each other, and it was a three-way. Anyway, so
Right.
I'm doing a friend of mine, Dallas Campbell, who you might know. He's a presenter on a lot of the science and gadget shows on the Beeb. His wife was working for the studio that was producing the film, and he was on set, and they snuck out this. You get a lot of continuity shots when you're on film sets for the wardrobe. They keep taking photos to make sure they got, so that next time you're on set after breaks, you change. It goes, no, you were holding it in that hand, or you had the thing on your wrist, on your right wrist, and stuff. And they got this one of Johnny Depp on set in the outfit with the typewriter, full on Hunter garb. Can you see that good?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's Gilliam's.
That's right. And then he framed it and he gave it to me as a present before I went off to Edinburgh to do the show where I was playing this, and I thought it was such a great gift, and he's a big fan of my impression as well, and I started showing this to people when I had it up on the wall, and they were like, "Wow, you look just like Johnny Depp." I'm like, "No, that's Johnny Depp." So
that's so cool. Because yeah, of course it makes sense they would be taking photos of them in costume and stuff, but you figure those Polaroids never see the light of day. So that's
right.
what a unique, a movie as well. Like that's such a, that's wicked.
Yeah, and now you wouldn't get a Polaroid because they take everything on their phone.
You're right. So this is a genuine, unique item that, oh, that's so cool, man. What's it say? What's the writing on it there?
It's got the dates on it. I think it's 1819, and then there's 5860, which is maybe 5,860 picture number.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, that film, there's a lot of costumes, you got to remember he wore so many Hawaiian shirts during the film. Like they got to keep track of, were you wearing that one in this scene or that?
Yeah.
And it's pretty trippy.
That's you know that he Fear and Loathing for Las Vegas, he wrote it when he was basically he was commissioned to write a 500-word article, and he delivered Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which is wicked. And I read it again recently. It's a weird ass book. Like it's
great.
Weird.
He was at one of the old casinos in Vegas called Circus, which is still there, but the old circus. And a friend of mine was there. She was the Pete Doherty. What's his band called? Pete Doherty's band.
Libertines, or the new Baby Shambles?
Yeah, the Libertines. So she was their tour manager, and she'd seen my show, and she went to Circus and got me a deck of Circus playing cards and some poker chips from there, just because of the connection.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's great, yeah.
I love that. I mean, that's another thing I'm a big fan of. Associated venues, merchandise, not merchandise, just like, a thing that lives in those places.
Isn't that amazing? So cool, because you can just be, I mean, is there something I've got here? Well, not necessarily, no, but yeah, it's that thing where you go, well, that mug is only from that diner in that town, on that street in the world. Yeah. And that's the only, and you just go, that's that mug.
Yeah. I have an ashtray, which I got off eBay, of the Comedy Store in LA from the period of the 70s.
Wow.
And it just such a cool, that's what I love about items. They reek of a time and place, even if they don't reek because you've washed them, obviously, but they just embody it. It's such a tiny thing, but it can mean so much. I love as well, Hunter S. Thompson used to, do you know how he used to sign his books? Not always, but this was a favorite thing of his. When he was out in his ranch, he would line up all of his books in one big long row, and he would shoot a bullet through the center all the way through the books.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, he was a mad man.
Yeah.
I've read a lot about how he ended his life, which is just such a curious moment that even his wife is still trying to come to grips with. And then Johnny Depp playing such a role in his funeral of building that giant fist that they shot his ashes out of like a cannon.
That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
He lived with Johnny Depp Johnny Depp lived with him for something like 6 months or something. Just follow, and he said he was like this. He said he was like my shadow, just following me around. Everything I did, he just did it like an echo, you know. And
Yeah.
because I got so pissed off, I wanted to shoot him. Just, you know. But then then there's that, having that distance and respect to go, okay, no, sorry, you know, I'll go and do my thing. But it's great because a lot of people were going, well, Johnny Depp's not a great actor, this, that, or he's just a good-looking guy, blah, blah, blah. And so he, you know, and he did these roles, and it was even that he had to shave his hair and go bald and stuff like Hunter and age up and that. And there's a great scene where the real Hunter and Johnny Depp's Hunter see each other when he's tripping, and they look at each other, and you go, God, he does look exactly like a younger version of the actual guy, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Must be freaky for the person that's still alive to see an actor transform themselves into the person that they. It's something that I, as an impressionist, have this thing where there's one comedian in New York who I impersonate, and a lot of other acts really like it.
Is this a famous act?
Well, he's pretty well known in New York, and he's got a TV show, so I won't name him, but I do an impression of him, and other comics are like, Jesus, man, that's like spot on. And he said he never wanted to see it. And I said, why? He said, because I don't want to become undone. Because you're going to show me exactly what it is that I do and how I do it. And I don't want to. And I thought, that's a really interesting thing. And I didn't think about that. I obviously respect it. You know,
do you have because you do so many impressions and they're all so brilliant and they're also nuanced with facial movements and so on, but do you find that as a movie fan you have better impressions with movies that you spend more time watching? So like, can you do all the Jaws guys, or is that why you can do Johnny Depp so well, because you watch it so much?
Well, but I've seen Fear and Loathing maybe 3 times.
Oh, okay.
So they work. The way that it happens is it's kind of like photographic memory, but not with the instantaneous time thing, because like Morgan Freeman took like a year before it just jumped out, and as soon as it jumps out of me, and then I just go, oh, then I've got it. And then
it feels weird hearing about it but not hearing it. Can you give us a Morgan Freeman?
Yeah. What's the name of this show?
Show us your shit.
Now, why would you call a show something like that? Why wouldn't you show us your stuff? What's up in the attic? What's down in the cellar? Show us your shit. That sounds a little, too rude, I must. I remember the first time I found this thing. Let me tell you, where's that goddamn thing that I had? It's around here somewhere. Betty, can you go and find that thing that I had? I want to show Dan on this show.
It's amazing because all the movements, all the lean backs and stuff are.
Well, you got to become an old guy, you know. You got a face has got to contort, and I don't know.
I remember every time you used to do De Niro on stage. You don't even need to do the voice right now, but can you just even go into the facial movements of De Niro for us for a second? Add in the voice now. Let's get vocal.
Yo, Dan, I'm watching you. I'm watching you, Dan. I'm watching you. Yo. Birthday, you got a gift. What's going on? He does this thing where his eyebrows kind of like he's worried. This is how I used to teach people. You're worried. It's like you're going to start crying. And then you drop the mouth like you're sad. And then you got to try and smile through the sad mouth. So you get like... Hold it, stretch your temple, stick your tongue out, try to smile, be like, hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here?
That's so good. I've never heard the detailed, the sort of the IKEA, the production to get you to the actual impression. That's amazing. Do you do that with every single character that you create, or not create? Sorry, that you impersonate.
Not every single. There's a lot I can do that with, but there's a lot I can't. It's just there's I don't know, man. It's like an essence thing that just you become them, and then or maybe I just kind of feel them in a different way, and I don't have a technical sort of thing to it because it's more empathic, you know, or kind of, yeah. I do it through a lot of people. I never use a mirror to see that I'm getting the face right or anything like that.
Oh, really?
How do you not use a mirror? And I went, they said, how do you know you're getting it right? I said, because I feel it. See, so for me, I'm very empathic that way. So when I do an impression, if I feel it, then I'll put it on stage or on camera. But if I don't feel it, I won't, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's one that you do, which is you can't look like the person, which is Homer Simpson. Yet I always feel like I'm in front of Homer Simpson whenever you. Yeah, sorry to turn this into. Can you give us your impressions? But could we hear Homer for one second?
Well, let's get Homer over for a second. Homer, are you? Yeah. What is it? Woo! Dan Schreiber. I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, look, it's Dan Schreiber. Hey, kids, come on over. Yeah, busy thing done a Dan Schreiber. Woo!
It's so good, man.
Hey,
and I love when I'm in front of you, whenever you do his walks as well. I mean, it's a full body impression.
Hey, did it? I started doing the Family Guy Griffins as well, and then trying to do a Griffins and Simpsons off kind of thing, and getting the South Park kids coming in there and just it gets a bit nuts on them. This is where I live, and Home Alone. One of the things that I've been thinking of doing during this time that we're living in is starting off a podcast, but I don't know whether to do it as a live. Maybe you can tell me. Do it as a live thing with someone on camera, or just do it as an audio thing. But it's basically me in my habitat, just kind of hanging out with my voices. And,
it's so good. Such a good idea. I think it needs to be video because you totally embody the actions of each, like when being Hunter going up to the camera as Johnny Depp, you know, Homer looking off screen, Morgan leaning back. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, man. And Neil, if you ever see Neil live, I mean, he has a new show every year, but one thing that I used to love is he would go on stage with a full deck of cards, and each card would be a different impression that he could do. Yeah. And what would you do? You would give it to someone in the audience, and they would read them out.
They'd shuffle them up and mix them up, and then they'd call them out, and then I'd riff on them, and then sometimes I'd take like 3 or 4 at once, and then kind of do like a Whose Line Is It Anyway by myself, but with the different characters in situations suggested by the audience, or I'd have a fixed routine on it, and I'd do that, but I'd have to get through like 55 impressions in 55 minutes was the kind of thing that when I started using the cards, that was the show. I'm thinking of turning that into a TV, like a live YouTube, not a live YouTube. Maybe I'll film it and then put it on YouTube as a TV show. I don't know.
Yeah. It's such a cool idea. Why don't we get back to some more shit? So if you're just joining us now, welcome to the show. This is Show Us Your Shit, a show where we are looking at awesome stuff that belongs to awesome people. And tonight we are looking inside the house of Anil Desai, comedian, impressionist, cruise legend, and Hunter S. Thompson impersonator of perfection. He's great.
The remarks coming in. Yes, I do impersonate friends. Not all friends. I can only impersonate people that I like. And someone asked me to impersonate you, Dan. So maybe I'll do it at the end of the show, perhaps.
Okay, cool, nice, awesome.
Cartoons. And I found this, which somebody told me was worth a lot of money. Now, if there's anyone out there that is watching that knows anything about the Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, yeah, love the Garbage Pail Kids.
Right? Now, look what I found, man. I found a stack of Garbage Pail Kids bubblegum card stickers.
Oh, wow.
This is from the 80s, man. And I found this just after I had a phone call with you a couple of hours ago. And then I went, let me see if I can find something else. And then this just was there, sitting, waiting. And I was
saying, so cool. And, do you know what's doubly weird, just before we get into that, is that this show started 14 nights or 14 episodes ago. There was a bit of a break when I had my son. But I have been doing things like I want to have a logo and I need a theme tune for it and so on. I'm currently trying to get a logo made. My brief for the logo is I want it to look like the Garbage Pail Kids logo. That's
Right.
so it's insane that this is coming up.
That's what the Garbage Pail Kids logo looks like. If you can,
Yeah, I want it. I want show us your shit like that.
yeah,
That's my dream.
just put a-
Those
that's
cards are amazing.
right. Look at, I mean, the characters are fantastic. There's where have you gone? Where's that?
These will all be backwards to us, so you got to read out the characters.
Okay, Jason Basin.
Jason Basin, fantastic.
Sits in the toilet. This kid got. I mean, geez, who else is here? We got. Oh, this was Nervy Nigel. Look at this kid. A kid smoking like crazy. I mean, this is real Garbage Pail Kids, man. This was like, what the hell?
So what someone's just mentioned, I find it weird that they're more popular now than the Cabbage Patch Kids. So were these just a direct parody of the Cabbage Patch?
Like
right. So
doing Cabbage Patch Kids.
Right.
You know? And then I don't know who created these, but I used to get them in bubblegum cards, and I was. This is funny. This on the back. So on the back it says things like you have a permit to stay up late, right? And it says this is presented to, and it says myself. And I must have written when I was like 13 years old that I had the permission to stay up late. And since then, I've been staying up late because I'm late, and I don't go to sleep till 2, 3 in the morning.
That's your life, yeah.
My life. Isn't that crazy?
You know, we would have met at about 2 or 3 in the morning. I think the first time you and I ever met was in Edinburgh at Spank. We used to do, I think that's where we first met. I mean, we might have met at a party or something beforehand.
7 or 8, I think it was.
Yeah, exactly. And Spank was for anyone who's never been to Edinburgh, it's a show that begins at 12 a.m. and it runs till about 2 or 3. Yeah. And it's just super late night stand up. And Anil and I used to do it all the time. And they had this one fantastic little format point in the middle of the show, which was most of the people who were coming to the show were other acts from theater shows and street performance art stuff and comedians as well.
Comedy.
Yeah, like it was a whole mix, and they would do a thing where they would do a 1-minute promotion. You were allowed to come on stage in the middle of the show and promote your show to the entire 300 audience sitting there. But the naked promo. The condition was you had to be bollock naked as you did your 1-minute pitch for what your thing was. So people would get up on stage, they'd say they're up for it. They would put on the they would go all sexy. They would take off their clothes. They would do like pole dancing stuff. And then suddenly the music cuts as soon as they're completely naked. And they would go into the microphone. So we're performing a production of Macbeth at 2:30 in the afternoon by the outdoor area of the... It was just mad. It was just these insane... It was so cool. And that's where we first met, I think, doing stand-up at those early nights.
Yeah, man. For sure. Dude, I mean, look at this guy. Flake. All right? Like this hippie kid. They've got like Cyndi Lauper getting her head chopped off.
Cyndi Lauper, lovely.
Right? There's heaps of this stuff. The Garbage Pail Kids, right? Look at this kid. Tongue-tied Tim. All right? These guys, they included everybody from different ethnicities and deformities and genders and everything. You know, you could have been a mutant, you could have been Japanese, you could have been the Statue of Liberty, Libby. Like,
wow.
I mean,
I used to have them. I haven't seen them in years.
They were so inclusive. I mean, Jesus, there was ventriloquist. How great's that? He's got a real person that he's ventriloquist, like the puppets, the act. Right. So I found this. This is a treasure trove, man. And then they made them a little bigger later on. So these cards, same Garbage Pail, but a little bigger in size.
When did you have these from? These are your childhood cards.
Yeah, this is the 1980. I'd say around 84, 85, 86 onwards.
Right. And then so when did the bigger ones come out?
When did they come out? I think around. Can someone look it up and let us know?
Yeah. When did the format size increase?
This would have been about I don't know, a couple of years later, I think, maybe 3 years later.
Yeah.
Because I think that they slowed down on sales because they had a terrible movie made as well that came out. These are bubblegum cards. Bubblegum cards spawned an entire movie.
Yeah.
The movie came out around '87 because I was in West Palm Beach in Florida, and I went to the cinema to see it, and it was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a movie.
But you liked it as a kid, cause,
yeah.
Yeah, and so after it bombed, I think the bubblegum card sales kind of declined. But if someone can find out what the price is on these guys, and if anyone wants to buy them, I could do with the money during the
during the lockdown.
All of my work's been cancelled up into August, man. So, this is it's fun doing this, man. Just hanging out, because I don't even get to do that. So
here's the movie.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow, that looks great.
Yeah, I've still got more. Do we want to see? What do we want to see? More collectible stuff, or more movie type stuff, or more?
Let's go. In terms of collectibles, what do you mean, like cards and stuff, or?
Well, I've got my original Star Wars figures.
Oh yes, please, yeah. let me quickly, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, welcome to Show Us Your Shit, a show where we are looking at the amazing shit that is kept in the homes of awesome people. And tonight we are talking to the brilliant Anil Desai, stand-up comedian and impressionist, who has a lot of Star Wars toys we're about to see. So let's see your next item.
Oh my goodness. Right. Now, these guys, they're in a box. And what I have, I've bagged, at some point, and I don't remember when I did this, because I did play with these toys. Now, these are the original Star Wars toys from 1977, 1980 for The Empire Strikes Back, and 1983 Return of the Jedi. And I collected all of them. I got all of them. I collected all of them. They were my every Christmas, birthday. If anyone wants to give me a gift at any time of the year, it was a Star Wars toy. So I put them in these plastic cases. This is an Ugnaught from The Empire Strikes Back who puts Han Solo in the carbon freeze thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then we got some Landos here as well. So
that's great.
Yeah, and they're all in good condition. They've all got their weapons.
They've all got their weapons. Awesome.
Yeah, because you'd lose the weapons as a kid. You'd lose the
guns.
Yeah,
straight away.
I've got all of that shit. Got all that stuff. And there are over 120 figures. I think there's Luke Skywalker in the Endor outfit. The heroes had a series of fashion costumes. He had lots of different Lando, and he's in his, he's a bit more, I don't know, he's a general now, so he's got a better cape. He's we got Luke Skywalker as Red 5 X-Wing pilot.
Wow. Hey, look at this, Anil. Just a little note underneath. Nasty Nick, if it's in mint condition, is $7,500 American.
Wow. Wow, really?
You gotta flip through those cards, buddy.
I haven't looked at them in years.
You might be having the most lucrative lockdown of any comedian just by flipping through those. I used to babysit a kid who was a Star Wars toy.
Yeah. The kid was a Star Wars toy.
Yeah, he so when the reboots, or not the reboots, but episodes 1, 2, and 3 were made, they were made in Sydney where I lived.
Yeah.
And the kid that I babysat was in he was in the second or third. You know, the scene where Anakin Skywalker loses his shit and he murders an entire village? He was one of the kids.
What are you doing? And he goes, you don't see the kid get killed, but that's the kid?
Yeah, well, he's a kid on the back of a mum.
Right.
So as she's running, she has him sitting on her back, and it's a shot. It's the only one where it's him. And that was made into a toy. Yeah, so he's a little backpack kid on the back of a. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, we're going to come back to the Star Wars thing, but once you mentioned that, the pop dolls that you can get of like all these like movie characters, TV show characters, and stuff like that. You get these
Yeah,
pop
those
dolls.
really cool little squats.
Yeah, and this guy who's got a comic book store in Sydney, he came to see my show when I was over there a few years back, and he was such a fan that he made me my own pop doll. That's one of the other items I wanted to show you.
Awesome.
And it's me with a microphone, wearing my black leather jacket and my black jeans, and he put the smiley face on because I'm a comedian, and he's got the cocked eyebrow that I do. Da 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 da. All right.
That's so cool. That's a one-off pop.
And it's a one-off. He made it for me as a gift, and it was so cool, man. And yeah, it's one of the things you go, well, I'd never have got this if I was an accountant. Yeah.
That's so wicked, man.
So cool, man. So that's one of my favorite things that I got on my tours overseas and through this career. So that was one of the other items I wanted to show you.
Yeah, that's amazing. How long did it take him to do that? From when? Because you were
3 days or something, 4 days. He had so at the back of his comic book shop, he's got a workshop, and he made bespoke pop dolls for people as presents, or like, so you go in and order one, and you have one of your wife, and you give him a picture and stuff, and then he'd make it. You know?
Really?
Yeah. So he did me.
That's so wicked.
Yeah. So I'd go and hang out there, and he goes, "Hey, I made you a thing." And I was like, "What thing?" And he goes, "Because I kept looking at the pop dolls." And he's going, "I made you a pop doll. You're a very..." I was like, "What? That's so cool."
Do you ever get the Star Wars toys out and do a set as your pop toy in the cantina?
No,
Just
I've
a
never...
quick Han Solo and Chewie sitting in the background laughing their ass off.
This is the first time, as a biker scout, this is the first time I've taken out this box of Star Wars toys. It's a trap. It's a trap. Classic. Akbar.
Oh my God, you could do all the voices. You could be Star Wars in your room. Man, that is exciting. Yeah. The power of impression. So good.
This is the first time I've taken these toys out. I moved here 3 years ago, so the box was with me, but this box was at my old place for 10 years, hidden away. So before that, I must have bagged them. They were in storage for 2 years before that. 15 years, man, that I haven't looked at these like this in hand,
wow,
for any reason. Yeah. And
someone's saying is that is the podcast.
Huh?
There's your podcast. They say you just doing Star Wars. Just give us another 3 movies.
Yeah, the oldest ones are the oldest ones are from 1977.
Cool.
Which they released originally 12 characters and then another additional 4. So there were 16 in that, and then Empire expanded, and then Jedi had just like all the Jabba's palace characters and stuff. There's this guy who was on the skiff. He's one of the skiff guys who were pushing Luke and Han into the Sarlacc pit on Tatooine and Jedi, and they were called what was it? Klaatu, Barada, Nikto, which were 3 of the characters on of the skiff guards on that ship. Now, if you know Klaatu, Barada, and Nikto, you know what they're from? There's 2 films connected to. So this is George Lucas referencing originally The Day the Earth Stood Still from the 1950s, sci-fi B movie. The robot arrives and he says Klaatu, Barada, Nikto. And then in Army of Darkness, Bruce Campbell, when he's having to quote from the book to raise the dead or whatever, he has to say Klaatu, Barada, Nikto, and he kind of goes, and it doesn't happen, and he gets the wrong army up and stuff, and he's like, nah, so the referencing, so Sam Raimi referencing the original Day the Earth Stood Still, and then George Lucas referencing back that, so it was really cool, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's these characters.
Someone was saying, didn't realize all the minor characters got toys. I had no idea either that it went that sort of. Has every character got a toy?
Yeah.
Every character in Star Wars has a toy. I mean, that's crazy.
I guess so.
I wonder if anyone has the full set.
I mean, there was one character called Yak. There's one character called Yak Face, and they did two. There was two versions of it made by the toy company. One had a short neck and one had a long neck. And the one that's got the long or the short neck perhaps. The short neck one, I think I saw it in the cinema store in town for £125. Just like this, out of the packet and stuff. Just I went, I've got that one. And there's two Snaggletooth as well. One was in blue and one was in red. And I made it my thing to get every single character. That was my thing for like those 5-6 years as a kid.
Well, so how many are in this box that you've got? We haven't seen the box. Can you hold that up?
Yeah. So that's okay. The box is a Dr. Martens shoe box. So
right. Wow, and that's jeez.
Yeah. So there's over 124 in here.
Individual characters, no doubles, no two Lukes wearing different clothes.
No, I'm not counting doubles. I have got doubles. Of course, you want to have doubles of stormtroopers, biker scouts. So I'm not counting them as part of the 120 something. That would be then 140 something in total.
Right.
But
I love it. It's been 15 years and you still know the numbers about singles and doubles. Fantastic. So good.
I was obsessed with it. I was lucky as a kid. I was given a lot of toys as a kid. I had Matchbox cars and Corgi cars, which I loved. I had Lego, which I loved, particularly space Lego because I love space stuff. I gave all of it away to kids, kindergartens where I worked, and cousins in India and overseas, and friends and their kids when they had kids, and I just gave everything away. And my mum said, "What about your Star Wars toys? You got to give them away." I went, "No. This is the only thing I'm keeping." She said, "Why?" I said, "Well, if I ever have kids," she goes, "What, you're going to give them to them?" I said, "No." I said, "If I ever have kids, I'll tell them the whole story about why they can't play with these toys." But what? I said,
so good.
If I ever get a house, like the ideal home, then I want to have a whole room with glass displays built in to the wall. And in each display would be a different environment from the Star Wars figures that I would put in. And I'd have the piece of music from that scene on Hoth or in the cantina. And those characters would be in there. And the thing would be on a rotating like a turntable. And it would rotate as you press the button, the curtain opens. Like that, and then you'd see these figures in this display. And that's how I wanted to display them. And that's never happened because I don't own my own house. And I'm not an architect or anything. And I haven't made enough millions from comedy yet because I do comedy. But anyway, there's some gold in here.
Wow, man. That is so
Look,
exciting.
It actually says Star Wars figures. Made in England.
What a dream. What a dream. I love it. Hey, Anil,
Yeah.
are you cool? Do you have more time to hang out? So I'm going to shut down the video. We'll disappear for 2 minutes and then we'll come back and we'll do some more. So invite yourself back into this video in 2 minutes time. Yeah. And the rest of you, please join us. We'll do a few more objects and then we'll wrap this baby up. But until then, 2 minutes, go get a drink, go to the toilet. See you all then.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. I'm not sure if Anil's back with us yet, so let's just wait for him to come back in. If he doesn't come back, can someone go on an Instagram page and message him to say to come back? The guy who voiced Silly Sausage was hungover at the time, and his roommate's a comedian. No way! You're kidding! She knows Silly Sausage's voice?
Silly Sausage! Come on, play with me!
She lives with that? This is fantastic news. I feel like Silly Sausage should stay a part of this show. He's aggressive, I'll give you that. If you missed the beginning of the show, there's a reason this is here.
Come on, play with me!
Yeah, so it didn't go down well with the family when I brought this out.
Stretch me!
That's a thing.
Dip me!
You
Poke me!
He's a dick. Silly Sausage is a dick. So, yes, you have no idea, Rachel Keeks, what's going on. This is a show called Show Us Your Shit, and it's a show where I talk every night to an interesting person. He's still talking. I talk to an interesting person about all the interesting stuff that they have in their houses and get them to show it to us all. And we've had amazing nights so far. We've had everyone from We've had the curator of flies at the Natural History Museum. We've had the editor-in-chief of the Guinness World Records. We've had comedians. We've had authors. We've had so many fun people. And tomorrow night is a very special show because tomorrow night it's all of your shit. So as part of this show, we've invented Shit Club, whereby all of you have been submitting to me the stuff that you own in your houses, and tomorrow night I'm going to just pick out a bunch and bring you all into the video. So I would love to meet you all. I'm sure a bunch of you in the little chat here would love to meet each other and see each other's faces. So a few familiar names will be popping up, and we'll do that. So Neil's arrived, so let's bring him back in and see what other objects he has for us tonight. Just as I'm bringing him back,
I asked him if I could do this because I thought this might be quite interesting. He can do so many voices and he's absolutely brilliant at them. I thought, why don't we test his impressions? Think of a celebrity and just start writing celebrity names in the comments here, and we'll see if Anil can do any of them. So we'll just read through them. Before we get to another item, let's just see if we can get some classics out of him. So give us some names. Anil, you did say there was a name you saw earlier that you just want to do.
Shut up the mic, they said. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so Marlon Brando was the first one I saw. You know, Dan, it's taken me such a long time to figure out how to work this thing out. You know, it's you know, I like when I was in The Godfather. You know, a lot of people put that cotton in the mouth, but I don't have, you know, I just.
It's so good.
It's just me. It's just me.
That was you.
Jack. I saw Jack Nicholson there. Hey, it's Jack here. How are you? You want answers? Do you want answers? You know, I've got bouncing, reclining thing I do when I talk. I mean, look at my eyes. They look like they're about to go off.
So good.
Blown. Liam Neeson. I used to do this Liam Neeson bit where because he made the Taken films, and Taken 1 is his daughter gets kidnapped, and terrible father, you know, and Taken 2 his wife gets kidnapped, and terrible husband, and Taken 3 he gets kidnapped, and I'm thinking this guy's an idiot, right? And so I had an idea for Taken 4, should they do one, all right? So it goes, hello, I don't know who you are, what you look like, or where you live, but if you lay one finger on my family, I will hunt you down, I will find you, and I will kill you. Do you understand? Do you understand? Yes, but I was just calling from Vodafone to make sure your service is working okay. You don't want to be Liam, Misa. What?
Don't know what that means. Give us more names. Boris and Trump. Can you do a Trump? Have you got a Trump?
You know, I don't like doing Trump because I only like doing people that I like. So I don't like doing. A lot of people ask me. They say, "Why do you talk the way that you talk?" And I gotta tell you, because I use wasabi for toothpaste. That's. Well, of course. I don't like doing these politicians. I hate them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Simpsons, we already did Homer.
Yeah, we did the Simpsons already. Hey, so have you met Peter Griffin, Tom Cruise? You know, here's the thing, Dan. You know, Dan, you. Woo! Dan, I'm going to take you and we're going to go to the top, man. Just, okay, who's coming with me? Who? You know, just, woo! You know, you just, you know, we live in a dangerous world, man. I just, I'm seeing names coming up. Eric Cartman. Yeah, screw you guys. I'm getting him.
How about
of Popeye. Oh, these are going pretty fast now. Olives. Michael Caine. And the thing about Michael Caine is that you've got to sound like you've got a cold. See, and now back in the old days, see, a lot of people will come up to me and they say, "Oh, Michael," a lot as if they knew me, you know, because I'm very sort of personable that way, you know, very down to earth sort of time. Well, Stephen Fry, well, you see, now he has a particular way of SpongeBob. Squidward! Wait, Christopher Walken. Oh my God, these things are flying by. I mean, so fast. I can't understand. I gotta keep up. You gotta slow down. You got a lot of fans. Dan, the man ice is gonna break. Wow, these are going fast. Jeremy Clark, I don't like him. Okay, slow down. We have David Attenborough now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out there, whilst we are in this strange alternate reality, just whatever you take care of your environment and look after your animals and your plants. Don't forget to water your plants. Okay.
Schwarzenegger. You must have Schwarzenegger.
Good to do Schwarzenegger. You know, the other day I had an argument with Schwarzenegger in my kitchen. I'm there, like, I was throwing pasta into the boiling water because I was cooking my dinner. And I said, "Hasta la vista, baby." And then Schwarzenegger pops up. He's like, "Why are you always making fun of me?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm just quoting your lines." "But why you don't say something else that I don't say?" I said, "I never said it. Why don't you write it?" "Why don't you write it?" "Why do I have to write it? It's your life, man. Why are you ribbing me? Why are you ribbing me?" And we just... And he's going, "Look, you're standing there making pasta, talking to yourself, talking as if you're talking to me, but I'm not here. You're all alone. You are alone." And okay, slow down. Just everybody, just hold tight. Where's Piggy? Hey, yo, just wait a minute. I got Sylvester Stallone. I've got to go to Alec Guinness. I just did Kermit. What's it? Fox. You know, the great thing about the universe is that Clint Eastwood is get off my lawn. Okay, just slow it down. So how many people are you watching?
Amazing, man. Amazing. No, that's
you know,
I don't want you to overheat.
Do what? I
don't want you to overheat.
No, exactly.
You're making so many changes.
I'm like a jukebox that's overheating. Snoop Dogg. Hey man, you know what? You know the difference between a master and a beginner? Well, the master has failed more times than the beginner has tried. Hey man, I'll give you a Matthew McConaughey. All right, man. Now, how you all doing out there now? Yeah, I just realized that the whole thing about the world is that there's like 8 billion people on the planet, and you know, that's 8 billion people that's all connected through. You know, we all know what it is to win and lose, and to cry and to be sad, to have sorrow, be surprised and to be elated. You know, yet we're all connected to all these. Here's a thing that blows my bongolicious mind, man. That is that there's 8 billion of people living together, connected to all of this, yet we all know what it feels like to be alone. I just can't get over that. All right, Chewy, all right. Can you do Joe Exotic? I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I have no idea who Joe Exotic is.
I have no idea who Flint from Clint. It's Clint from Joe's. Quint.
Wow, man. Can I give you a collective applause from everyone who's been watching that? That was amazing.
A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm pro marijuana. I like getting stoned, and that, yeah. Sure thing, Mr. Peterson. I'm like, cheers, Woody, man. I love it.
So good, man. So good. All right.
Are these people going to follow me on my Instagram page?
Well, I hope they do. And I think you should start doing Instagram lives where you just do this. So Anil Desai Comedy is his Instagram.
If they follow me, then I'll start posting up more impressions every day.
Do.
Like,
you need.
I want to see this. Like,
oh man, it's so fun. This is what his stand-up's like as well, by the way.
The one of your favorites, Dan, when we met was Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah.
And I met Jeff Goldblum in New York. I went to see a play he was in, and we went backstage and we got to meet him. And he was a lovely guy. And you know, I just want to say, here's the thing now. When I meet new people, I get excited. I get loud. I realize I don't know what I'm talking about, right? You're delightful. Thanks for watching. What's the show called? How much shit this guy's got. I'm very, very, thank you very much. I'm very humbled by all of this. This is beautiful. I've got one impression of Steve Buscemi. This is the only thing.
Oh yeah.
Sure, man. That's it.
Do it again. Do it again. It's the little jot at the end.
Sure, man. Sure, man. Jerry Seinfeld, would you get out of here? You know, I'm trying to spend my time out here doing nothing, but as soon as you try nothing, then you're doing something. So then everything's out of Jerry. Giddy up. I love him. I'm a big Seinfeld fan. So good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah, man, that's all I got though, man. Shit.
It feels weird going back to the main point of the show, but let's.
You know what I could do? I could just introduce my items as different impressions.
Great, fantastic. All right, let's do a few more items. What's your next item?
Sure, I gotta tell you, 80s Mel Gibson. I love that. Hey, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Favorite impression? I don't know. So many. Captain Jack, probably. Here's the thing. I've got some rum in my Malibu and rum, mate. What was it? Al Pacino. Okay. Hi, I'm Al Pacino. How you doing? Dad, great to see you. Hoo-ha. I like your glasses. They're great. Now listen, I got something. I was in New Zealand a long time ago, and I got myself this thing. This is the One Ring. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Oh, cool.
See it? Is it in focus?
No, not quite. But
focus.
I think hold it back a tiny bit. The light is shining off it, so I'm not sure it will.
How's that?
No, I mean we can see it's a ring. What's it? Has it got stuff written on it? Has it got elfish writing?
It's got the elvish written on it. One ring.
Where did you get that in New Zealand from? Was it a sort of merchandise?
My show. I got invited to do the New Zealand International Comedy Festival by our good friends Reese and Rosie, and they brought me down there. And I was doing my show in Wellington, and after the show, doing my show, but after the show, the audience were all waiting in the bar, and I wanted to go and get some dinner, and they invited me. Some of them invited me to go get some dinner with them, and I said, "Well, I don't know who you are," and they said, "Well, we've just seen you for an hour. We feel like we know you, and you're new here. You don't know anyone, and we'd like to take dinner as our guest." I was like, "Okay, that's so nice. Just the loveliest people I've ever met globally are the Kiwis, really, and so lovely." And they took me there, and then I asked what they did, and one of them worked at Weta Film Studios, and at the time they were filming The Hobbit. And she said, "Would you like to come to the studios for a tour?" I was like, "Are you serious? Like, I've just come to New Zealand to do my show. That's excitement enough, right?" And then she's like, "No, well, you know." So the next day they picked me up at the hotel. They took me down to Miramar, to Weta Film Studios, showed me around at all the different costume stuff, and that went through the studios, you know, and Ian McKellen and Billy Connolly, they're all down there filming and stuff. And I was just like,
oh, wow.
They took me to the Weta Caves. Yeah, I love Weta. Me too. And I got myself the One Ring, man. And you can't see it properly. I don't know if you how can I show it to you? So
maybe post a photo on your Instagram page after this show.
Do that, man. It's too much tech stuff. And you know what the One Ring looks like? It looks like this.
Yeah.
This is a silver one. I didn't get the gold one because I don't like wearing gold. I'm not a gold guy. I only do comedy gold. So thank you very much. But the silver I got because I like wearing silver, and it's great, and it was cheaper as well. But here's the thing now. Then I went to Sydney, and I did a show. And in the front row was this beautiful girl who I'd never met. And at the end of the show, and I said at the end of the show, I said my sign-off line was, "Hey, so I'm a single guy, and if there's any lovely girls here that are single that would like to show me around your town, then let me know, because I can be any man you want me to be." Right? And you know, it's
yeah, nice line. Yeah.
Joke line. This girl actually left with her sister and her sister's boyfriend, and then came back 5 minutes later and said, were you serious about that? I said, well, it's kind of joking, but she said, well, are you single? I said, yeah. She goes, well, me too. She goes, I'd love to show you around. I said, great. So we got talking. We started seeing each other. We kind of fell in love, and she had this, and she saw my Lord of the Rings ring. but she also had the even star that Arwen has, and she gives it to Viggo Mortensen's character, whose name was
I can't remember it. Yeah, I know.
the King.
Someone give it to us.
So this is the even star. You can see that.
Right. Cool.
Right, and so that
Aragorn
gives it to him, and it's a beautiful scene. And this girl that I fell for had one of these, and she lost it, and she told me that we went on our first date. So I then, when I was back in New Zealand, bought this for her, and then when I came back to Australia to see her, she was no more. She was able. She'd gone. She'd disappeared.
No.
We didn't even have a proper breakup, and so I've never worn this because it was for her, and I never had closure from that. And that's a really sad story to tell on this show, but it's true.
No, it's not. It's exciting that maybe one day you'll reunite.
It's gone.
Is it?
Yeah. She's not coming back. She's not gonna. This was like 7 years ago, but I have this, and I'll wear it. But if there is a girl out there that is deserving of this and would like me to be any man that they would like me to be, I've been single for 3 years now.
Right.
And I have this even star, but you got to be beautiful and you got to be romantic and you got to love, man. Like I love love. I love being in love. I'm a good guy. I wouldn't be on the show if I wasn't. But
you're a great guy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
No, you really are. You're one of those very special people who's just the joy of the party whenever you're in the room. No, it's true. It's true. It's worth saying that about people in front of other people because it's true.
This can be yours if you would like to message me for a date, even if it's virtual whilst we're in this world.
Right.
And if something happens, you might be the lucky owner of this.
Wow.
7 years now. 6 years.
I've never seen this kind of Tinder approach where you can offer prizes to.
I'm awful on dating apps. I don't know how to do that stuff. I'm old school, man. I'm an old school romantic. You know.
Are all your Tinder pictures just of things you could have? This toaster, this necklace, a trip on a cruise to the Mystery Islands.
I did Tinder for about 24 hours about 4 years ago. And I just went, that's not for me. Because the thing is, in person, the quality that I am, this is what my best friend said to me, he goes, online, on a profile, on a dating app, and your picture and your blurb, they're not going to get the quality of person that you are in real life from a picture.
Mm.
And he said, in real life, you're great. So, you know what I mean? So he said, and every girl that I've had a relationship with, I've met in person. So.
Yeah.
It's really
very exciting. Someone was just saying, what if this produces our first shit show couple? I'm very into that. That would be wicked. Should we do maybe one more item before we wrap this up? Have you got anything else to show us, or should we head into the?
I've got a book, another picture frame, a painting, and a candle.
All right, well, let's do a quick fire round. Give us a sort of just a one sentence, and we might get an initial sentence out of it. For everyone else, if you've just joined us, welcome to Show Us Your Shit. This is a show where we are talking to all the amazing people in the world currently stuck in their house who are going through their houses to show us the stuff that they've been hoarding all their lives. And we are talking tonight to Anil Desai, comedian and single man who is offering prize medallions if you marry him. So
be awesome and beautiful and awesome.
There's a lot of messages saying if they weren't married they would be keen. Same here, buddy. Same here.
Now the audience that you're getting is married white women. That's
that's my audience.
Private. He's such a charming, cheeky chap. Shame I'm married. A wonderful friend of mine who I lived with in this place when I first moved in, she's also from New Zealand, and I'm a big fan of pineapples. I was in a sketch group called the Pineapple Boys, and I like pineapple on pizza. So that's a you got to do that if you want to get that medallion. But she gave me this pineapple candle.
Ah.
And the hello.
Hello.
The condition was that I don't ever light the candle, because eventually the candle will melt away, and it was a symbol of our friendship, that wherever she goes and I go, we'll still be friends as long as this is what we have. And so I've never lit this candle, as much as I'm tempted to light it.
Yeah.
Not allowed to light it because it keeps our friendship alive.
You're like a beautiful, sentimental man. It's so wonderful.
And
All these items that you have.
Well, I love pineapples, and it looks good on the shelf, man. It's
Yeah,
so,
that's lovely.
All
right, give us your next one.
Another quick one. This book is called The Half, and it's by Simon Anand. And it's The Half. Now, I'm an actor as well. I've been a professional actor since 1993. And I've appeared on stage many times and stuff. The Half is what is the last half hour before the curtain goes up, before the show starts.
Okay, yeah, right.
Simon spent 25 years photographing up and coming actors and very well known actors in theatres around the world in The Half. So it's that last half hour of where the actor is in their own space and time. Anyone that's not an actor or backstage crew has to get out of backstage. The actors then get into their moment, their zone, their focusing, their concentration, their character. They're just going through every little thing they need to before whatever their ritual is. And what Simon's done over 25 years is he's photographed all of these people, from Jude Law and the Daniel Radcliffe and Daniel Craig and so many, Ian McKellen. And it's a wonderful book. Now, I own this book because it was gifted to me by my very best friend Brendan in New York, who was sat in a pub in London with Simon, unbeknownst to him. Simon had the manuscript, the paper, all of this in a file, which hadn't gone to, but it was going to print that night or that next morning, and that was the version that was going to print, and he'd left it in the pub, and he'd gone, and then Brendan found it and saw that it was the guy he was talking to on the side table, and he ran out and he chased him up the street, and he said, "Hey, you forgot this folder thing." And he said, "Oh my God, that's the book I was telling you about." And how he was probably so intoxicated with his work and so engrossed in it that he forgot that he actually left the thing at the pub. It got published, and he sent a copy to my mate, who then gave it to me as a present.
Wow!
Because yeah, so really,
what a great story, and it looks like an amazing book. I've never heard of that before.
Check it out. There's some. I mean.
Yeah, give us. Can you show a couple of pictures from it?
Yeah, let's see. We've got there's Jim Broadbent here. There's Alex Kingston.
Oh, cool!
There's,
Doctor Who, River Song, love it.
Let's see. Let's get someone in a good moment here. Let's Andy Serkis. There is famous for Gollum and King Kong.
Yeah.
And this is In the Half, man. In the Half is your time. It's your
it looks
life.
Beautiful. That looks stunning. What a great idea! What a great idea! I didn't even know the term "the half."
There, so this is 25 years of photographs of prepping for the actors, prepping for the stage.
Amazing. Yeah. So cool. Should we do one more before we head to the end here? Have you got one more thing?
Okay. I'll show you this. This is now this is yeah. This is as you can see, it's what you'd carry your booze in.
Uh-huh.
And it had some wine in it. I got it in Spain back in 2003. Yeah, 2003. And and it's I bought it not because I knew the brand of wine or because I wanted the wine or because I was on a night out and I thought let's get some wine. I got it simply because it was just a really cool, receptacle and thing and I thought, well, if I get this, I can carry this wherever I go.
Yeah.
Like some drifter, some hobo type guy, not a brown paper bag. Now I've got this thing, I could just put it on and just you go, right?
That's so cool.
And you fill it up and it's got this wonderful bullhead cork, stopper thing at the top, right? So yeah, it's the month of Taurus. So yeah, and this has been around on a lot of my camping trips and adventures around.
Oh, really? You take that everywhere?
Yeah, and also it was in a play that I did at the Edinburgh Festival where I played a character from Peru, and this was one of his sort of props that I used to swig through. So that's the thing about these items, is that they can appear through different experiences and places, not just all like that you either purchased or were given as presents, but that you got along the way as a prop in a play, or that you found at the bottom drawer of your new office desk when you moved into the new office because you got promoted in your company, whatever, you know what I mean? And these are and that's why I kind of keep them, because they're personal to me. It was just that all of these things there's something of me in them,
Yes, they're like Horcruxes. You've put tiny bits of you into them, and we must destroy them one day.
Yeah. I'll do Hannah Montana when she's a little older. Boom, pow.
All right, let's wrap this up. So, as I said at the top of the show, this show is called "Show Us Your Shit" (brackets) or some Shakespeare, a pair of pajamas, and a mutton chop. So the reason, Anil, that it's called that is because during World War II, P.G. Wodehouse was living in France, and the Nazis were descending on his house. He and his wife had 10 minutes to get out of the house. Right. And in that 10 minutes, they grabbed the most important things in their house. Right. And his wife tried to get a suitcase, couldn't manage to get it. So they had to take this in their hands. And the only three things that P.G. Wodehouse left with of all his items was some Shakespeare, a pair of pajamas, and a mutton chop. So my question to you is, you've got those three items. If you could take one thing from your house, if you had to flee.
Out of those three things?
No. You've got those. I'm giving you those, and then you're allowed to take one thing of your own.
Out of the thing that I've shown you?
It could be just something in your house.
One thing would I take?
The one thing. You're fleeing from the Nazis. You got 10 minutes, but I'm asking you to decide in about 10 seconds.
I would probably take a photo album that I just found, which has got photos of my sister's wedding, which has got photos of my dad at his happiest, because I recently lost my dad last month.
Yeah, man. So much love to you.
I don't have any other pictures of him. And
beautiful.
And Dan, I still have my. I heard this thing years ago. It said, "Throw away your old bank statements, but keep your love letters." And I have every single love letter, postcard, whatever, written to me since I was a teenager till now, and I have them in a shoebox, classic old school shoebox, right? I have letters in there that I haven't read since probably the mid 90s, and they're all still in there. And if there was any new ones, maybe they went in there. I don't know. But I that's something I wanted to find, but I couldn't find it in time for this. But also, it was that thing of going. That's probably a whole show in there about going all of these of what people thought I was, or what I meant to them, or what they thought of me, or what I thought of them. I mean, who I was back then and through the years. So
well, let's do another show, and we can just do. We're definitely going to be revisiting a lot of friends on this show along the way, and you definitely need to come back for another one.
few items that I haven't brought up. So yeah, we got items for next time for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for doing this, man. Everyone's asking. You did say you might do it. I don't want to hear it personally, but an impression of me, Dan impression.
Let me see if I can. Give me a second.
I should switch off. I really feel. I feel what that guy was saying. Oh
right.
no.
To another edition of Show Us Your Shit. Now, I'm Dan. This is all I got. I got the glasses. This is as much as I could.
You need to say awesome a lot.
Oh, that's so awesome. You know what I love about that? That's so awesome. And my accent's sort of country, but it's sort of Australian, but it's English. And, you know, who is Dan is the man. Dan is the man that does Show Us Your Shit. And he's doing a great show with Shit Club tomorrow. I've been Anil Desai and the other people. And thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me, man. This has been probably one of the highlights of my time in this alternate world we're living in.
Oh, good. I'm glad. It's joyous to do this every night because you get to just meet people in a very different way. Like, I've not seen this stuff of you before. We've hung out so much. So thanks for doing it, dude. Everyone else, thank you for joining us. I'm going to be back again tomorrow night with the Shit Club. And then next week, another 7 days of new people. It's I have a lot of exciting people who are coming up. So please come and do this. Yeah, one last thing is, Anil, what can we, so people can follow you on Instagram, where else can they follow you? Twitter?
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at the same handle at Anil Desai Comic. If I get enough followers asking me, then I'll post up an impression every day.
Amazing.
Someone told me to do that, and I haven't got around to it because I've had stuff to deal with, family stuff. But it's something I promise I'll do it for you if you're into it.
Nice.
You'll
Sweet.
get my impressions by day,
yeah.
And I'll have a sort of a little I don't know, proverb of the day kind of thing or something. Who knows, man?
Yeah. Oh, well, so much love to you and your family, man. I'm so sorry for your loss with your father, but I'm glad you got to see him before he went. I know you said there was a chance that couldn't happen, so that's a sort of blessing in itself. Love you, buddy, and everyone else. Hopefully see you tomorrow night. Have a good night, everyone. Catch you later. Stay safe.
Bye.